Look, I gotta be honest with you. This has to be probably the craziest thing we've done so far in our first year of sailing. This week, we're floating through the mangroves of inner Hinchinbrook Island, fishing, cruising, and trying really hard not to attract any unwanted attention. Because if there's anywhere on the Queensland coast that crocodiles call home, it's right here. And with most croc encounters in Australia happening along this very coastline, well, let's just say our little fold-out porter boat wasn't giving us confidence. We needed someone with us who's a bit braver, and ideally with a good bloody tender. Enter Brett. We first crossed paths with him on Gari earlier this year when he strolled up and said, "Hey, I know you guys from YouTube." A handshake, a mackerel fishing trip, and a few tall tales later, we'd made a friend for life. Now Brett's here on his gorgeous GrandBanks, Lizzie Rose, and together we're headed deep into crocodile country in search of a hidden freshwater oasis. Because when you're out here, safety and numbers, and in the size of your boat, is a rule to live by. So we're going to drop the pick here tonight. It's supposed to be really shallow, but we're still in 6 meters of water. And it's so cool we get to see the other side of Hinchinbrook Island because we were anchored over there where Zoe Bay is. So cool. We've been trying to spot crocs, but to no avail, but I'm sure that they're all looking at us. I can feel eyes on me.
Hey! How you going? Looking good.
Fancy finding you all the way up here.
Yeah, we ran into you, that's perfect.
Before we graduated from land lovers to salty pirates, my fishing resume consisted of carp in Canberra's man-made Lake Burley Griffin. I didn't want to sit by a stinky lake with corn dangling from the hook. I wanted to go ski down the slopes of Kosciuszko or chase waves on the sleepy south coast. Going on fishing missions with Brett feels like I'm going back to my roots, immersing ourselves in nature, gawking at the magnitude of our surroundings whilst giggling with excitement as we cast, flick, jig and will our efforts to convert into a meal.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh no, look.
What? Oh!
It's bitten through it.
No way!
That would have been mangrove jacket.
Oh, poor thing.
Oh look, it's just there.
Oh! Oh, it's...
When does that ever happen?
Never.
Brett's superior experience has given me a huge learning opportunity that I know will be vital for Phoebe and I further down the track when we venture deeper into the natural world, where the food you eat is grown, caught or harvested, as shops are just a luxurious memory. Fishing, like sailing, seems to be this endless apprenticeship, where the learning never stops but the rewards increase as experience grows. Besides the catch, fishing offers rare moments often missed for men bound by traditional masculinity. How often can men openly exclaim emotion in company, laughing with excitement or exclaim in despair? Fishing provides many moments to release these pent-up emotions, and in between, well, it's a blatant canvas, often bringing out locked away thoughts and feelings to share. This is what I imagine it would have been like in tribal times, when men would go on hunt together, and although sitting in a Lux inflatable with a fat merc hanging off the back isn't the same thing, it's the closest we get to reconnecting as men. Hello and good morning. We've just moved 45 minutes up the creek. There's apparently a little freshwater creek it turns into at the very end of this little estuary system. So we're going to go up there for an adventure, go up there for a fish, go up there for a swim. And also it works out well because where we are is about the midpoint of this river system on the inside of Hinchinbrook Island, and this is where the two tidal flows meet. So as we start riding the runoff, we'll be carrying the tide all the way to the southern entrance at Lucinda, where we'll stop for the night and then head out to the Palm Isles tomorrow and wait for a good little weather window to sail back down to Townsville. Maggie wrapping up this last little adventure that has been absolutely splendid. Lizzie Rose is just dropping anchor over there. This is the main tidal stream here. It's looking up north, but it's a good little spot here just at the entrance to this little sort of creek, and there's not a lot of tidal flow here because it actually will dry all the way around us here. So it's a great little anchorage.
When people think of Australia, usually the first thing that comes to mind are the terrifying encounters with the wildlife. Drop bears, spiders, sharks, snakes, swooping magpies, crocs, dingoes, burly kangaroos the size of Arnold. And they're not wrong. I've seen more deadly snakes and spiders in my short 26 years than most Americans probably would in their lifetime. But as an Aussie, the wildlife isn't as relevant of a threat as people would expect. Namely because Josh and I didn't grow up in the outback, where the danger of venomous or deadly animals is imminent. Riptides, drunk footy boys and crackheads posed a bigger danger to me. And for Josh, well, the biggest threat to his life was his own unquenchable thirst for thrill. Gliding through the mangroves of this crocky river system, we were reminded just how small and fragile we are. For the first time, we felt that primal fear and vulnerability that many assume comes with being Australian, and it was incredible. What an honour to be so deep in another creature's domain. And the scariest part is we didn't even see a single crocodile. But how humbling it was to know that they saw us. These apex predators ruling the underbelly of Hinchinbrook are living relics, modern-day dinosaurs that have endured eons. And as we threaded deeper into the heart of Hinchinbrook, where the water turned from salty to brackish to blue, we couldn't help but feel grateful for our safe passage to this paradise, knowing it was granted only by the leering lizard lords below. So we'd been putting up this little river for probably the past hour. Boys haven't got any fish. There's been no bites. We were getting up to the spot where on maps it was saying that it was supposed to be really blue and nice for swimming. And it didn't look that way. It was dark and salty and muddy. And then we turn around into this bend and we found this absolute paradise. Clear, warm, fresh water. we can't believe it. We were dead set about to call it. Oh, you would have never guessed that this was here from what we were seeing on our way up. How often have you ventured to a place that only few from this lifetime have been? We found this hidden gem only through satellite imagery and hoped that when we arrived that the waters were as clear as they appeared. Without any doubts in our mind, we knew and felt that this freshwater oasis hidden within one of the most deadly river systems in Queensland would have once been a home to the First Nations people, the Birragiri. As we floated and felt the peace of birdsong, cicadas and paperbark trees, there was a humming carried on the wind, the kind of sound only heard when the heart is opened and mind quiet. It wasn't hard to imagine a tribe paddling into this sanctuary in their canoes, teaching their young to thank the crocodiles for safe passage, drinking the pure water falling from the mountains shrouded by mist, and roasting freshly caught barramundi over an open fire. Brett was reminded of his childhood in a small village in Vanuatu, living from the land, learning from the elders, eating and drinking only what was caught or harvested by hand. Swimming here, with Brett leading the way, felt safer, knowing we were in the hands of someone familiar with this way of life. Whoa!
That's a different way to do it.
Bang.
That's a great way to do it, Brett.
No, you have it, mate. You have it.
Oh, no one's opened up a coconut for Josh before.
Get those
Yeah.
shapes there on that angle, so you want down that way and then you peel it off.
Yeah. I'm doing that, but I'm doing it on the other end.
No, it takes you too long to get to the
Ah,
and then you peel these off and you get a nice shape.
it's a slippery. It's covered in coconut husk juice now.
See, like that. And then
Ah,
you just peel them off. The other thing we do is you use that's the spoon, to eat the coconut with.
Oh.
And then you then use that.
Really?
that's such a good idea. This is what you did in Vanuatu?
Yeah, we lived on them because there was no fresh water. I literally ate them every day.
Was the machetes that you had bigger than
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, big long ones.
What sort of shape on them?
Similar shape. I've got one on the boat, I'll show you.
Do you say leave yellow staining, don't they?
Yep. Yeah,
Is that the oils?
I don't like opening them on the boat.
Yeah,
No, I don't do that.
our tender's completely coconut stained now.
They stain like mad.
Yeah, so you're just chopping them and then leveraging them off.
Yeah, you just leave them off and then you get so that's all shell there and then you can just...
Wow, look at that one.
Whoa!
Have at it.
That's yours, my friend. I've already had a full one.
I thought that's the best way to land feet first.
Yeah, well, you're going to get a spinal if you land feet first.
Okay. You got your GoPro?
One? Yeah.
Hang on, Tarzan. I hope you have a cunning plan.
You look like Spider-Man. Where he's sitting on that line.
This is not good.
Oh, so maybe the idea is you just get to that top knot. Oh.
I call him Barramundi boy.
Did you see how deep it was down there when you were?
No.
That was a bit silly. Oh,
Okay, he's there.
woohoo!
There, it's touching. So 7 foot, I want to say.
No, you're not going to be back for a bit. Woo!
Epic. It's not very deep. I hit the bottom. Oh, shit.
So as I went to edit the end of this video, I was really confused because there was no footage. We were sailing out of Lucinda. I could see the really long jetty, and all of a sudden we're at Orpheus, and I was like, damn, I must have lost the footage or something. I can't believe I've done that. I was trying to look through all the folders in the future, and I wasn't there. And then I remembered we didn't film anything after this time because we were traumatized.
It always seems to happen on those long, challenging passages that never seem to end. We don't get any footage.
And then everything goes wrong.
Compared to the motoring up the inside of Hinchinbrook, where I got 45 minutes of footage of just motor sailing and talking about my surroundings.
Yeah, with wind in the camera, and then didn't charge the GoPro battery so that when we actually, needed them, we couldn't film it. So do you want to tell them? Oh, let me set the scene. We had a really bad sleep at Lucinda, right?
Yeah, 3 knots of current, wind against tide. I laid on the couch all night just looking at the depth sounder and anchor alarm, making sure we hadn't moved.
You could hear the current ripping through the hole. That's how loud it was.
Yeah, and we just woke up as soon as, we came we came to be standing from laying as soon as we could, and realised that we just need to get out of there. We were waiting for the tide to come high because we had to leave against this 5.76 kilometre long jetty that they use for loading sugar. That thing just seems to go on forever. It's almost like a bar crossing. And yeah, we got out there and it was rough and rumbly, and pulled the jib up and we were sailing hard on the wind. We had to make use of whatever conditions we had because we needed to get south and be back there in about 5 days time. Yeah, which is the first time we'd done that this season. And yeah, we were sailing hard on the wind, and I called Phoebe out because we were trolling and we hooked up a fish. I didn't properly explain to Phoebe that we were actually not following the plotted course on navionics. We were just sailing to the wind as close as we could.
Which was my mistake, but when you're down, I guess when you're down here and in conditions like that, and you're making breakfast, which is what I was doing, you're so focused on that and not spilling anything, and then you get hear the zzz of the rod, and you're running out there, and Josh is stressed and I'm stressed. We hadn't caught any fish, so it was like everything was riding on us getting this fish because we didn't get any on the inside of Hinchinbrook. And so I'm just sailing off navionics, which was so silly. I should have really just trusted myself and felt the boat and sailed rather than following a lead. But yeah, that's just how it went. And
within the time that Phoebe jumped on the helm, I pretty much had the fish at the boat, but by then she'd sort of come into irons and backwinded the jib, so it blew the bow around straight over the line, straight over the fish, which went around the prop. So I had to go straight over the side to try and minimise any damage that we had. Luckily we weren't motoring at the time, but I was over the side, nude as anything, big white bum, and said to Phoebe,
not that big.
Said to Phoebe, "Give me the gaff, the fish is still on the line." By the time I put my head back down, it had spat the lure. And I was kind of stressing because having a fish that's stressing below the water is attracting all sorts of things.
And it's like, as you learned earlier in the video, it's crocky as anything here, and sharky.
So yeah, we unwound that prop wrap, jumped aboard, just pretty much dropped the sails and just punched into the wind and motored for the rest of the little way to Orpheus, and that was a big learning curve.
Yeah, it was. And neither of us were wearing PFDs at that time too, and there were just so many mistakes. We weren't really communicating well because we were stressed, and yeah, I mean, it's probably a good thing that we didn't get to have it on the GoPro. We didn't record it.
Yeah, sorry you didn't get to see the visual medium of this, but I'm glad we got to share with you that experience, and hope you never have to be part of it again.
Yeah, well, probably will. That's sailing. But we look forward to sharing more with you next week when we're on Orpheus Island and Josh finally gets me to go fishing with him and we run out of water. It's all happening. We'll see you then.